Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Juan Cristales, man. I am back to doing the videos for you guys to kind of give you a quick update. Today, we're going to be talking about surveys. We're going to be talking about fencing and the labor for the fences, how we take care of that. Now, what we've been doing is ground up new construction duplexes. We've been doing that for the last several years. If that's something that interests you, we want to learn about that. That's what this is about. So let's get right into it. Here we go. So the very first thing we're going to talk about is the three surveys. There's three surveys that you need when you're first starting and when you're going through the entire build process. The first one is going to be a boundary survey. Then you have a form survey. And then the last one is going to be the final survey. They may have different names in different places of the country, but that's basically what we have here in Texas. So let's get into the first one. It's going to be a boundary survey. All that does is points out the pins. You see it says find half inch iron rod. That's what IR stands for with the cap. Basically, all they're telling you is that these are the corners of the lot. The very first survey, because we had nothing on this particular lot, all this stuff was gone. So it was just a red rectangle with nothing inside of it. Okay, and that's basically a boundary survey. It just gives you the corners of the lot. Inside of that survey, you should have, or when you make sure you request it, to give you the information about the setbacks. You see how this says 25.3? It says we have a 25 building setback for the front, 5 on the sides, and then we have 10 in the back over here. Okay, so all that means is that you can't build within 25 in the front, you can't build within 5 feet of the boundary on the sides, and you can't build within 10 feet of the back. That's what that means. Is that what the boundary survey is going to help you understand about your lot. Now, what does all this stuff mean here? All these little numbers, very, very simple. This 53.95, that tells you the width of the lot from here to here. And then from this corner here to this one, that's going to be 124.83 feet. And then the back, 53.89, is going to be the width. You see how it's a little bit narrower in the back than it is the front? Don't know why, that's just how it is. And then the front, 124.81 feet on this side. So this one here is just a little tiny smidge shorter than this one. Whatever. Not the end of the world, guys, but that's just part of the process. Now, once we've gotten the boundary survey completed, we can get the form survey. Now, the form survey gets ordered when the forms for the concrete get put up. Now, the reason why that's important is because you want to get the forms put on the survey before you pour the concrete, right? Say, for example, you're off by 4 inches, just as an example. I don't know why 4 inches. I can explain to you guys in another video why 4 inches, but let's just say for the purposes here, we are off. Here it says 25.3. Now, if we can zoom in just a bit, so you can see a little bit better. You see 25.3. So when we first got this survey, it said there's a 25-foot building setback. So this corner here, which is the part that protrudes the most out, basically is saying that it's a 25 feet, 0.3 feet further out. That's a third of a foot. So we're safe is basically what that means. On this one, you have 7.1, which means we're safe because that was a 5-foot building setback. This one's 7.3. And then in the back, they don't even show it because we're so far off of the 10-foot building setback that it doesn't even matter. Okay. Now, this is just the form survey. It's going to give you the dimensions of the concrete, where it's all going to be going. Everything's good. So we're solid on what we're trying to build right now. Okay. Now, that's the second survey. Now, the third survey we have not actually ordered yet, and there's a reason why. The third survey, which is the final survey, basically takes into consideration everything. We're talking about the driveways. We're talking about the fences. We're talking about, let me draw the little driveway here. It takes into consideration everything. It takes into consideration the little air conditioning concrete pads that are on the side. I'm sure you guys have seen those. It takes into consideration the fence, and the fence is going to be looking something like this. It's a duplex, so we want to split the yard, so make sure that everybody has privacy. It's going to take into consideration all that stuff, right? And then in the back, if you guys remember, I also did like a little concrete pad or a little concrete thing with a little fire pit thing. It's going to put that on the little diagram. So all of these things are going to show up on the final survey as part of the final thing, okay? And that's exactly what you want. Now, we traditionally, you don't want to do the final survey until all that stuff is in. Now, we've gotten everything in except for the fencing. So that's what we're going to be talking about next, is the material list for the fence. All right, so what we got here is the property address of where this material is going to be getting delivered. We like buying this stuff from Home Depot. They here in Texas, they're very good about when they tell you they're going to deliver it during a certain time. They're usually very, very good about delivering it during that certain time. They're also very, very good about not messing up the order. That's what I really like about Home Depot. So if we order 540 pieces of these, treated pine dog ear fence pickets, we're going to get 540 of them. If there's any issues with this, they'll let us know and refund us, whatever the case is, but they're going to stick to the delivery date, and then the material quantity that we order is usually right on point. We don't ever have any issues with that. So that's what's amazing about it, okay? And that's why I like using them. And their prices are very competitive because we have the Pro VIP account. If you don't have a Pro VIP account, talk to one of their sales reps. They're going to want to know how many duplexes you're building in a particular year or how many single family homes you're building. They want to make sure they can get the volume. That's what they want. They want the volume of just material, being able to move material. Now, let's talk about the material order that we already put in. And what we have here is going to be the concrete mix. Specifically, we do the 60-pound bags. And we do 60-pound bags because those things get heavy, man. After 40 bags, and you're doing the 80-pound bags, I'm telling you, like, you can be fit and all, man. That's awesome. But, like, I'm telling you, they get very, very heavy over the course of time, especially throughout the day. And, you're not doing this work, but the guys that are out there are doing the work. And, of course, they're asking for 60-pound bags. After that, I'm going to skip over here to the 4x4s. These are 8 foot. The reason we order 8 foot, so if, let's say this is the post, right? 2 feet are going to be underground, and then the 6 feet are going to be above. So it's pretty standard to do that here in Texas for the fences. We're also buying contact pressure treated because it's going to be touching the ground. You don't want the bugs to eat it, the termites and stuff like that. They're going to find the wood and try to chew it up. But it has the treated chemical in it so that the animals don't mess with it. Then after that, we are buying the 2x4s that go across it. Now, this particular fence is going to have 2x4s going across it, and then the pickets are going to be going, basically next to each other like so, and they're going to be nailed in, nailed in, nailed in. So that's pretty standard. Now you can do 3. You can do different types if you wanted to do that. Obviously, it's going to cost more, but at the end of the day, 2x4s going across the backside of these things is pretty standard. Then on top of that, we also have the 540 pieces of this, the dog ear. So basically all that means is nothing crazy, guys. All that means is at the very top, it looks like this, right? The top of the picket fence. And so these come in standard 6 foot. That's a standard height for the fences. Most city jurisdictions, especially here inside the city of Willis, they don't want you to make it more than 6 feet. The city will come out and tell you got to take that fence down if it's more than 6 feet, okay? So that's pretty standard. Nothing too crazy there, and that's all what we get ordered, and we get the discount because we have this business with these guys, so they will basically deliver all this material for free. So now moving back to the labor, man. So very, very simple. What we do, being in the business, right, is we find people that, we're not looking for fence contractors, okay? Because fence contractors for something like this are going to want to charge a truckload of money, okay? I just don't understand it. We traditionally, what we do, and because we have a construction business, we have people that work for us sometimes that we traditionally use on a regular basis. And so because of that, we're going to be getting a little bit of a benefit to try to use the labor at a reasonable price, right? So hard labor, man, this is hard labor, seriously. When you're doing this stuff, these guys are not digging the holes by hand. They have a little machine that they use for that. Here's what that little machine looks like, man. It's super easy, and it's a gas-powered machine. And they just go mark where the hole's going to be going. They just dig them, keep moving along, and then they just level the 4x4s to make sure that they're not, forward and back, side to side, that they are level. And that's it. They do that one day, and the next day they come out and they put the actual pickets up. And so that'll get done. Now, remember, we're doing a duplex, so we have to do it on both sides. So what that means is that we have to separate the yard. The yard you have to have a fence basically separating the two, and then back out this way, usually past the side door, so they have some privacy. And then we're wanting to really cover up the air conditioning units so that you can't see it from the front. And that's really it. Nothing too crazy, guys. And those guys are professionals. That's all they do. And so typically we're able to get that done in 1 or 2 days, depending on how early they get started. They want those posts to set in so that the concrete solidifies. And that's really it, guys. So Nothing too crazy here. That's all I got for you. Thanks so much for watching. I'll send you video and picture updates of this particular fence once it gets done. Thanks, guys.